Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that's way more than just a buzzword. It's a straight up survival skill for any manager out there. I'm talking about creative problem solving.
Okay, I'm going to start with a pretty weird question. Are you the frog in the water? I know, it sounds a little strange, but stick with me. This one idea really gets to the core of why this whole topic is so important. You've probably heard this one before, right? The boiled frog metaphor. It's a classic for a reason. It's about any company, any team, really, that just doesn't see those small, creeping changes happening all around them. You get comfortable, things are going okay, but meanwhile, the temperature is rising, 1 degree at a time. And by the time you feel the heat, it can be way too late. That's the trap. Creative problem solving, that's your thermometer. It's the thing that helps you realize, hey, this water is getting a little warm, long before it's boiling. And that really sets the stage for the challenge every single manager is facing right now. We're talking about a skill that isn't just a nice to have anymore. Nope, it's fundamental. It's about survival. And even more than that, it's about actually growing when everything around you is constantly changing. So why is this a must-have? Well, look, the old playbook, the logical, step-by-step approach, it just doesn't cut it anymore for the big stuff. Imagine you're a retail manager in Cape Town, right? And suddenly, your customers are just shopping differently. The old sales tactics, the old store layout, none of it's working like it used to. The rule book is useless. You've got to adapt, you've got to innovate, and you've got to be the one who spots those little unexploited opportunities nobody else sees. That's where this creative muscle comes into play. All right, so if you're going to tackle these big, messy challenges, you absolutely need the right tools for the job. So let's open up the toolbox, shall we? We're going to define a few key concepts that you'll need. First thing in the toolkit, creativity. And let's get one thing straight right away. This is not just about being an artist or musician. In the world we're talking about, creativity is simply the thinking and the action that leads to new ideas that are actually useful. That's the key word. It's about looking at the same old thing everyone else is looking at, but seeing something new, something valuable. But a great idea is worthless if it just sits in your head or on a whiteboard, right? That's where our next tool, innovation, comes in. Innovation is the doing part. It's taking that spark of creativity and actually building something with it. It's about implementing it, getting it to market, turning that brilliant what if into a real product or a new way of doing things. Now, innovation isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. You've got two main flavors. On one hand, you have incremental innovation. Think of this as making your current product just a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little more efficient. It's continuous improvement, lower risk. Then you have the big one, breakthrough or radical innovation. This is the game changer, the totally new thing. Think of the very first smartphone. But here's the catch, it's incredibly high risk. We're talking up to a 90% failure rate. That's why for most businesses, building a habit of steady, incremental innovation is often the much smarter, more sustainable path to long-term success. Okay, next tool out of the box, problem solving itself. And really, at its heart, it's pretty simple. It's just a process for closing a gap. You're standing on one side of a canyon. That's where you are now. On the other side is where you want to be. Problem solving is the process of designing and building the bridge to get you there. And of course, not all gaps, not all problems are the same. You've got your algorithmic problems. These are the easy ones, the everyday stuff where there's a formula, a checklist. But then you have the heuristic problems. These are the monsters. They're vague, they're messy, there's no clear answer. Things like, how do we break into a brand new market? Or what do we do now that our biggest competitor just did that? There's no instruction manual for these. They're the ones that keep you awake at night.
And this is where it all comes together, creative problem solving. This is what you get when you take all those tools, creativity, innovation, and problem solving, and you aim them squarely at those big, hairy heuristic problems. It's not just about logic and data. It absolutely requires imagination. And yeah, a good bit of courage to come up with solutions that nobody has thought of before. Okay, so if this is so powerful, so necessary, why isn't every office buzzing with brilliant new ideas? What's getting in the way? Well, the truth is, there are a ton of roadblocks. Some of them are out there in the organization, and some of them, well, they're right inside our own heads. Let's talk about the company roadblocks first. Man, workplaces can be idea-killing machines sometimes. Picture a big, old-school corporation in Joburg. You've got rigid hierarchies where you can't talk to the boss's boss. You've got insane pressure to hit this quarter's numbers, so no one's thinking about next year. You get analysis paralysis, where you study a problem to death but never act. And the big one, a fear of risk. In an environment like that, a new idea doesn't stand a chance. It gets crushed before it can even take its first breath.
But it's not always the company's fault. We've all got our own internal dragons to slay too, and they usually fall into one of 4 categories: intellectual, emotional, cultural, and perceptual. Think about it. These are the personal barriers that can stop us dead in our tracks.
I love this quote for explaining the emotional blocks. The turtle only makes progress when it sticks its neck out. That says it all, doesn't it? The biggest emotional barrier for most of us is just plain fear. It's insecurity. It's that voice in your head that says, what if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if this is a stupid idea? That fear is a powerful cage, and it can keep your best ideas locked up inside, forever.
Okay, so we've identified the enemies, both outside and inside. And just seeing them, recognizing them, that's a huge first step. But it's not enough. Now let's get practical. How do we actually start knocking down these walls?
Let's kick things off with those perceptual blocks. You know what I mean. It's when your brain is stuck in a rut, seeing a problem the same old way over and over again. So the question is, how do you snap out of it?
It's all about forcing a new perspective. You have to consciously train your brain to break its old habits. So instead of just staring at the problem, you ask different questions. Ask, how would our biggest competitor solve this? Or better yet, how would a 10-year-old solve this? You have to investigate the stuff everyone takes for granted and start looking for weird connections between things that don't seem related. This doesn't just happen by magic. It's a mental workout you have to choose to do.
All right, now for the really tough one, those emotional blocks. The fear, the insecurity. How on earth do we find the courage to be that turtle and stick our necks out? First, you've got to admit that the fear is there. It's totally normal. The goal isn't to eliminate fear, it's to manage it. From there, it's about building your confidence. Practice pitching your ideas, even small ones. Get used to communicating what's in your head. And this is a big one. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have to learn to embrace the messiness and the uncertainty, because that's where the most creative solutions are born. Just remember, courage isn't a personality trait, it's a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
So as we start to wrap this up, if there is one thing, just one thing I want you to take away, it's this. Creativity is not magic. It is not some special gift that only a few lucky people are born with. It's a skill, a full-on competency. And just like learning to ride a bike or speak a new language, it's something that absolutely anyone can learn, can practice, and can get really, really good at.
And I really want this to sink in for a minute. In a world that is facing some seriously complex problems, a world that needs unique solutions more than ever, developing this skill means that you, yes, you, can make a massive difference. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge, a question to take with you. Think about your work, your team, your business right now. What's that one problem? The one everyone says is impossible to solve. What impossible problem are you going to solve first?